Okay, let's dive in. You ever get that feeling that everything in the universe kind of has a rhythm?
Mm-hmm.
Like a giant inhale and exhale, a push outward, then a pull back inward.
Mm.
Think about like the stars or the ocean tides. There's just this pulse.
That sense of rhythm is exactly what we're exploring today. This
Yeah.
deep dive is really into those big fundamental cycles, expansion and contraction.
Right. And we've got some great sources here, including these notes aligning with cosmic cycles, the rhythms of expansion and contraction. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and the goal isn't just, definitions. It's about seeing how these cycles actually show up in your life.
Okay.
And maybe unpacking why fighting one part of the rhythm, well, it might be why things feel like such a struggle sometimes.
And how leaning into both sides could actually bring, I don't know, peace,
Hmm.
power, something like that.
Exactly, peace and power.
What grabbed me right away from the material is how it frames it. It's not just like simple back and forth.
No, not just repetition.
It calls it the breath of creation, a dance between these two big forces. And it mentions Walter Russell, too. Rhythmic balanced interchange. It sounds pretty dynamic.
It really is. That's the core concept. Everything breathes,
Hmm.
it expands, and then inevitably it contracts. It's just a universal thing, constantly happening.
And the examples they give, wow, once you start looking, they are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Stars expanding, then collapsing, tides coming in, going
The
out.
moon waxing and waning.
Yeah. And seasons, right? Summer bloom, then the quiet of winter, even the whole universe maybe, breathing in and out.
That Walter Russell idea really sums it up nicely. Rhythmic, balanced interchange. It's this constant giving and receiving,
Like projecting energy outward.
and then pulling it back in to integrate, to consolidate. It's sort of the engine behind everything changing and evolving,
Yeah.
at every level.
Okay, so here's where it gets really personal, right? For you listening. This big universal thing. It's not just out there.
No, exactly. It's running your life too, right here, right now.
So you have these times of expansion. What does that look like?
Well, the sources describe it as, growth, creativity, lots of outward activity, abundance, joy, learning new things, connecting with people.
Those times when you feel really alive, productive.
Yeah, like things are just flowing, you've got momentum,
Right.
everything feels like it's clicking.
Those feel great, obviously. We love those times.
Do. But, and this is crucial from the sources, those phases, they always lead into contraction.
Ah, okay. The other side.
Right. And that looks different for everyone. Maybe it's reflection, integration time, focusing inwards. Sometimes it comes as challenges or what feels like loss.
Or just needing quiet, stillness, pulling back a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A natural withdrawal or need for rest. It just follows expansion.
And this is where we mess up, apparently.
Well, yeah, this is where a lot of the struggle comes in. The sources point out this really common human thing.
Mm.
We resist the contraction.
Why, though? What's so scary about it?
I think, and the material suggests this too, is because we're sort of taught to see contraction as failure.
Like you did something wrong, a setback.
Exactly. Like you stopped moving forward, stopped growing. So we get kind of terrified of that inward pull, the down part of the cycle. Feels like losing.
So we just keep pushing, try to force the expansion to just keep going forever.
That's the trap.
Mm.
And the analogy in the notes is so good.
Mhm.
It's like a tree trying to bloom nonstop all year, through winter,
It would just burn itself out.
completely. Or trying to fly into a headwind your whole life and never ever landing to refuel. That constant fight against the natural rhythm. That's where so much anxiety, burnout, even despair comes from, according to this material.
Yeah.
You're literally fighting the current.
But, okay, here's the shift. The sources say contraction isn't actually bad.
Not at all. It's not failure. It's necessary. You actually need it for real, sustainable growth.
Oh, so.
Think about the river analogy they use. A river isn't always flooding, right?
No.
Sometimes it narrows, it gets deeper.
Yeah.
And it's in that focused, contracted state that it actually carves the canyons, shapes the whole landscape.
Ah, okay. So fighting contraction is like refusing to let the river carve your canyon, your wisdom.
You got it. You're denying the very force that deepens you.
And this fits with Dr. DeMartini's idea, the law of opposites.
Perfectly. That idea that every positive you perceive has an equal opposite negative tied to it.
To apply that here.
Expansion and contraction. They aren't good or bad. They're just two sides of the same coin. Both totally essential for growth, for evolution.
So the stuff that feels bad during contraction, the suffering, the challenge, that perceived negative.
Is actually, as the notes put it, the universe nudging you. It's saying, hey, look closer. There's a hidden benefit here.
It's not just trying to make things hard.
No, It's there to serve you. The benefit might be a lesson you really needed, or
Right.
clarity that only comes in the quiet. Maybe it's inner strength you're building, or it's just time to finally integrate everything you learned during the expansion.
So contraction creates the tension, the grounding, that makes the next expansion stronger.
Exactly. More powerful, more focused.
Okay, so the answer isn't to fight it, it's to flow with it. Align with the cycles.
That's the core message from these sources. Learn to align, embrace the outward and the inward.
And the result is less struggle, more peace.
Profound peace, yeah.
Yeah.
And efficiency. Effortless power even. Because you're not swimming upstream anymore. You're riding the waves.
So how do we actually do that?
Well, sources suggest being conscious about it. Use the expansion times for creating, for acting, making bold moves, connecting, engaging. Go for it.
Build things, meet people, share your energy.
Right. And then use the contraction times consciously, too, for looking inward, resting deeply, healing, consolidating your energy, processing things.
Preparing for what's next.
Exactly. Retreat, reflect, integrate, clarify. It's active, just in a different way.
I like that idea that the universe isn't against you, even when it feels tough.
Mm-hmm. It's always supporting your growth. Those setbacks, they aren't punishments, they're integration points.
Opportunities to gather yourself, refine things, figure out what you really want before the next leap.
Yeah. Aligning turns life from this constant battle into more of a dance. Powerful, graceful.
Okay, this makes sense. And there's a practical exercise in the notes too, right? To help you see this in your own life.
Yes, absolutely. A way to start applying it directly.
So step 1, think about a recent time you were really in expansion mode.
Yeah, a big project finished, tons of energy, maybe a new relationship taking off, a creative burst, something like that.
Got it. Then step 2, look back honestly and see how that naturally shifted into a contraction phase.
Did you crash afterwards? Feel tired? Need alone time? Did a challenge pop up because of the expansion?
Yeah.
Did you just feel quieter after the big push?
Okay, and here's the important bit. Don't label that contraction bad.
Right. Instead, try to identify at least, say, 2 specific ways that quiet time or that challenge actually served you. How did it prepare you for something new?
Using those examples from the source, did it make you rest, show you where to improve, give you time to think about next steps, even subconsciously?
Did it maybe make you appreciate the good times more? Help you integrate new skills? Or maybe it helped you let go of something that wasn't working anymore?
Find the benefit, the purpose in that contraction.
Exactly. And then the final step is thinking ahead. How can you consciously plan for both phases in the future? Your projects, your goals, even just your week.
How can you design things to flow with these rhythms instead of fighting them?
That's the goal of the exercise,
Yeah.
to recognize these natural patterns and start working with them.
For more peace, more efficiency, and growth that actually lasts. Sustainable growth.
Yeah. So bringing it all together, consciously understanding and aligning with this cosmic rhythm, it's not about losing control. It's about changing the game
From that exhausting struggle against the tide.
into a powerful, graceful dance with the flow itself.
Back to the breathing idea. Breathe in the expansion, lean into it. Breathe out the contraction, trust it.
Learn the steps to the dance. Both steps.
Okay, so here's something for you to really chew on after this. How does seeing expansion and contraction as equally vital, equally necessary forces, how does that change the way you look at the really tough times,
Right.
the challenging moments in your life?
Does it shift anything? That understanding, that perspective, it's all part of your own journey, that spiral of growth. Keep watching for it. Keep reflecting.